What's up YouTube, this is JP Panther back with a video, and today's video is actually another Star Wars news related update video. And again, this comes from We Got This Cover. Again, I will link the article in the description box down below so you guys can check it out. So it says this is from We Got This Cover. J.J. Abrams, and also this is a Star Wars related video. So J.J. Abrams explains why diversity is so important in Star Wars, and he talked about the sequel trilogy and stuff like that was never inclusive and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm trying to find the article. Okay. This is what he says, right? We thought about building the story with the female antagonist, a set of 4 main characters, one of whom was Latin, one whom was Nigerian, one who was a white woman, and one who was Asian. And how can we find a way to have every kid who's going to see that movie see a version of themselves in a way that isn't often considered at scale? If we have at least this big of, this big of a scale, that's what he's trying to say. If we have this moment, this privilege, what do we want to do with it? Not from a place of being preachy, of feeding people spinach, just from a place of anytime you have a privilege, you have an obligation, period. That's how we try to live our lives. And J.J. Abrams talked about how Bad Robot, gets the company, whatever. They make sure that half of everyone interviewed for any job would be women. At least 40% of those numbers would be lined up of people of color. This isn't just a vision, neither, as Bad Robot staffs are currently 55% women and nearly half people of color, which I don't know why I keep saying people of color. The Star Trek director went on to say this is an exceptional. It makes me emotional actually to be in a meeting and to look around and see people who are never on usual suspects list. They are never normally people you would think would have this job, but they were the best people. They were there because we made sure they had a shot. I can't tell you how much it's benefit our business. And ultimately, the outcome has made Star Wars more diverse, and it's been in the 40-year history. Tell us, what do you think about this method of diverse representation? It is a step closer, or should the criteria to competent be impaired in a different manner? Sounds off in usual place. And the source comes from collidernews.com. Here's the thing, right? And this is just my personal opinion. Again, you guys will have different views about this and stuff like that. Again, the problem with Star Wars, and I said this before, and a lot of these Star Wars fans are going to be mad if how I said this, whatever. Star Wars is not a progressive franchise. It's just not. Like, if you watch the first original Star Wars, it is mostly, like, the original trilogy, as most people like it, whatever. You have mostly, it's not known for being a diverse franchise. It's a white Republican sci-fi movie franchise. It's mostly white people, aliens, and one token black guy. That's really much it. And that's the freaking universe. So you got to realize that if you go in more of a diverse representation type of route, I'm just talking about this particular franchise, right? And the fan base isn't that progressive, and they're not really down for all that type of stuff. And then you do it like 30 years, well, let's say like 30 years later, Disney buys it and makes it super progressive and super woke and stuff like that. The fan base is not going to accept it because how it was in the beginning is not going to be how it is in the future. So they're like, that's why they have all these issues, you feel me? And I don't mind Star Wars being progressive and stuff like that. I'd rather you focus on making the story good and have diverse characters. Because the problem is, to me, with the new Star Wars trilogy, the new Disney Star Wars trilogy, it just feels like they're checking a box, and it feels like they just made Rey into Jesus and they made Palpatine into Donald Trump. And I see the political messaging behind it, how they kill off all the old characters so they can make new characters. But the problem is they haven't developed the new characters at all. Because if you watch the movies, it's a freaking mess. And if you look at it, even though Rise of Skywalker made money, it's underperforming compared to The Force Awakens, and it's going to make less money than The Last Jedi. So it shows you that you're trying to go after an audience. I'm not going to say they don't care, but you're only doing it because you want to check a box and look good in society and stuff like that. But the problem is that the fan base is not down with all that. That's why you're going to have all these issues. And that's why Star Wars is a freaking mess right now. Because the fan base is not progressive, and the franchise has never been progressive. And I do blame part of that on George Lucas. Like, he was trying to go after this Donald Trump, white, Republican, sci-fi franchise, demographic, and it came back and bit him in the ass because he did all that with the prequels, and they hated the hell out of him. And it came, again, I think he's learning from his mistakes. He's like, man, I messed up. And even though he tried to appeal to these people, they came back and bit him in the ass for the prequels. He was having nervous breakdowns and stuff like that, and he sold the company Disney and blah blah blah. But overall, with J.J. Abrams, I don't mind having diversity and representation. I think it's good. I think it makes way for better and more inclusive, better stories. But the problem is you have to focus on the story. You have all these diverse characters, and the problem is that you focus on so much checking a box, you forgot to write a good, coherent, reasonable story. And then when you just check a box to make a political statement, it comes back and bites you in the ass. And I do think J.J. Abrams, even though I think he's the product of part of the problem. I don't think he is the main issue. But I do blame a lot of it on Kathleen Kennedy. I do blame a lot of it on Disney, and I do blame it on him a lot because, to me, you got to understand your demographic. You got to understand your audience, and again, I told you I don't mind having it. It's just you got to really understand who you're trying to appeal to, and you got to understand who your fan base is because. Even though, like, all right, you're going to have the normies and the popcorn movie fans, the problem is they're not going to be supporting the franchise like that. They're not going to be watching Clone Wars. They're not going to be buying the books. They're not going to be buying the comic books. They're not going to really be buying the merchandise like that. Like, sure, they'll buy Baby Yoda and Mandalorian, but that's it. Like, they're not supporting it off the screen. And the problem is you pissed off the people who do support it on and off the screen, so it comes back and hurts the franchise financially and it hurts them in the long run. And I think J.J. Abrams is kind of learning from his mistakes. But again, he's done with Star Wars. He got his Warner Brothers money. I don't think he cares at this point. He's like, man, F you guys. I'm just getting past through all this. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And this is what it is, and y'all suck it up. But overall, it's good to kind of hear what J.J. Abrams had to say, and then we kind of understand that they were more focused on having a political agenda rather than tell a good story. And when you watch this Disney trilogy, it's all it's all over the place, and it's a freaking mess. That's really it, guys. Tell me what you guys think about this. Do you guys agree that, do you guys agree what I say? Do you guys agree what J.J. Abrams says? Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you rate and like the video and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Peace and have a great day and take care.